it works. So he has his little earbud in. And do you want me to go ahead and start, Damon?
Either way, if you want to start, that's fine.
Yeah, I can go ahead and start. And let me share let me pull up what I need. Make this bigger. Okay, let me share my screen. I'm just going to share my desktop because it just makes it easier. Sorry about that. Oh, you know what? I'm not going to do it that way. It's making it go weird. Let me share just my PowerPoint. Okay. Did everyone see that?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So I'm talking about JavaScript events. It's probably something we're all really familiar with. Just a basic overview. JavaScript, it lets you execute code when events in the HTML are detected. So JavaScript, things that should be done, what JavaScript does is things that should be done every time a page loads, things that should be done when a page closes, and actions that should be performed when a user clicks on a button. It works with events in regards to like HTML event attributes that they can execute JavaScript code directly, and they can call JavaScript functions. And so you can assign your own event handler functions to HTML events, and you can prevent events from being sent or being handled. So, I mean, we've all done JavaScript code where we do like the on-click, you know. Are you guys familiar with that? Have you guys done that?
Yeah.
Okay, let me.
Yeah, CS246 had some of that.
Yeah, let me put in, oh, it's not gonna, this is why I was gonna share my, let me see if I can. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen for a minute. And I'm gonna go to my web browser. I don't know why it, sorry guys, technical difficulties, I apologize. Open up a new tab. And so I got this stuff, examples I got off W3 Schools. And let me screen share again. And so if you go to W3 Schools, you can go through different, it lets you like try out different things. And so this is like putting in an element when someone clicks on it. And so I'll just do, so right here where it says some event, you would type in on click. And then, you know, when it says good job. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And let me go down to here because these are, I have on here, these are animations. Let me pull that up. So this is like, here's a website about CSS and animations with JavaScript. And so what's nice about this site is it lets you look at the JavaScript and how it's written and how how you get that animation going. Because the result, if you press play, you can see how that box moves, and it gives you the JavaScript so you can get an understanding of how they got that. Like here's stuff like on click and where is it? Like it's calling functions down to move and adding classes and removing classes. The one that I really liked was, it's another WW3 school. Sorry about all the moving, but you know, they have these like, you know, the mouse over, the click me. And so it gives you these different, you can try it out, you know. And so you can say run. And when you click on that text, it says, oops, you know. So it shows you what the JavaScript does in regards to pulling events in. And is that the same one? I'm sorry, that's the same one. It's down here where it gets, you know, they have like, try it yourself. And so if you click on that, it brings up the date. Does that make sense to everyone? I've never actually had to teach anything like this to anyone, so I want to make sure that, because I've written the code and I've done it, but I've never had to teach anyone how to do it. So does that make sense, what I'm showing you guys?
Yes. Yes, it does.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
It makes sense.
All right, sorry. Oh my. I don't know where. Does anyone have any questions?
No, I don't have.
Oh, Jason, you're here. I didn't see you.
Yeah. Sorry, I was a little late.
And because it's stuff that, like, I know I did this stuff in like CIT261, so it's kind of the basic stuff. It's one of the first things we learn is JavaScript and getting in that. I think the animations are a little more advanced, but calling those events and things like that is one of the first things that we learn. And so I'll put that up, and I'll put the stuff. I have some other stuff I'm going to put up with that I'm in the process of writing for programs to show you guys. But any other questions? Or I know that's really a brief summary, but it's something I know we've all done. So, Luis, Jason, Damon?
Yeah, I'm okay.
That was good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like you said, it's just a refresher from 160 class.
Yeah.
On this subject.
Okay, so Damon, I think we're going to move over to you.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and share. I guess I'm going to share my whole screen. We'll see how that works. Give me a second. All right. Can everyone see that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I can make some of the text bigger if we need to, but this is probably easier than bouncing back and forth between applications like we did last time. Sorry, there's like 9,000 windows open right now. What I'm doing this week is basically AJAX requests, XML HTTP requests, and really everything is tied up in these. I'm going to call them 6 lines right here. This line that I'm pointing at, the document.getElementById demo, that really isn't necessarily part of the AJAX request. All this is an if statement, and if you meet these conditions, you do whatever is inside this code. And it's just like any other if. But really, what you have your function, you create a variable, and call it whatever. That's going to be a new XML HTTP request, which all by itself, that is a function. And then you're going to have pretty much 3 things. You're going to have one on ready state change, one open, and one send command. and we're gonna kind of look at these one at a time. We're gonna skip the on-ready state change. We're gonna come back to that one in a minute. Open, all this is you've got 3 parameters in here. You're gonna have either get or post, depending on the type of call you're making. And there's gonna be more information on all of this on the W3 Schools website. Is a really good resource. But we're going to go through some of the code that I have on the left side of the screen here in just a minute. But you'll have either a get or a post request, the site that you're requesting information from, and then either true or false. And this is going to be whether or not it's going to be an asynchronous request. My understanding is that JavaScript is actually trying to do away with the synchronous requests, so pretty much true is going to be the only thing that'll be accepted. And it'll probably take a while for that to happen. And then your send command, which is what actually sends your request. And you can see right here, now open, these are your parameters, your method, get or post, the URL you're requesting from, and then async, true, yeah, asynchronous, false synchronous. And then we're not going to get real in depth on the difference between get and post. 160, I'm guessing, probably didn't cover that. Have you guys all covered that in another class?
No,
Yeah.
that wasn't.
No,
in
I have not.
160.
I haven't seen in one class, but I'm not taking BYU classes and taking all the SBC. So
Okay. Oh, that's getting too deep into it. Is probably a little beyond the scope. But basically, there's 2 main methods to request information from another website, either get or post. And as you go through other websites, like when you submit forms on a website, I encourage you to pay attention to how the URL shows up when it does it. And that can help you know what type of request it's actually making when you're just doing this on your own, browsing around the internet. Usually what will happen is a get request will pass the parameters so you can see them. So like this may have been getting some information from another website on Henry Ford, and it'll pass that information right here in the URL so you can see it, where a post request will not. Usually a post request would be like login information, something that you want to keep hidden. And there's advantages and disadvantages to each one. And that we're not really gonna get into that part of it, because that really is kind of beyond the scope. But it is kind of cool how they work. We're gonna go back to this first page, and then send. All that does is pretty much get the ball rolling. It'll send your request that you're making. And then this X to HTTP on ready state change. Basically, your ready states, we're going to click over here to the response page. You've got 5 basic ready states: 0, request not initialized, server connection established, request received, processing request, and request finished and responses ready. And then there's going to be a couple different statuses. There's actually several more than what's listed here, but these are probably the 3 most common. And if you've ever been to a page and gotten an error 404, that's exactly what this is. It's a status that the page doesn't exist. But normally, like, you'll get, if you go to a request information from a web page, a status 200 is that the web page, you'll get ready state 4, request finish and response is ready, status 200, everything was okay. So we go back to the intro here, and you'll see if this dot ready state equals 4 and this dot status equals 200, that's when we want to do whatever code is in here, because we know that everything happened the way that it was supposed to. The information is ready for us to use, and so we're going to go ahead and use it. So over here on the left side, this code that I have here under the themepark.js file, lines 36 to 56, is exactly this. It's a XML, actually from 20 to 56 really, because here on 20 is our variable xHTTP equals new, and then really this stuff up top, all this is doing is building the URL. So we're going to kind of ignore that because that's specific to this application. The xHTTP open is a GET request. The URL that goes in here, and then true, it's asynchronous. On ready state change, I put a couple console logs in here. We're going to see what they're doing in just a second. But it's the same thing. Ready state equals 4, status equals 200. Another console log that we're going to look at. And then the response is what it's sending back. And it's sending back, we're going to parse the response text. And then all this code here, we're going to do stuff with the response text, and we'll see how that works out. So we looked at this a little bit last week as part of the lesson I had for JavaScript stuff. So we're going to see what it's doing. And I've got the console open on the right side. So we're going to pick a park, and today we're going to go to Epcot. So you can see ready state is 2, status is 200. Ready state's 3, status is 200. Ready state's 4, status is 200. Now it says doing stuff. So it went through all of the combinations of ready states. The status was 200 all the time. Everything was fine. And then you got to this line 39, doing stuff now. Now what it did for lines 40 through 50 is where it built this list of attractions from the JSON that it got back. Now we're taking this list, and we're not requesting any additional information from another website, so it's not going to go through all of this ready state change again. We're just going to pick one, and it's going to gather the information, and it's kind of a little bit slow waiting for the API, and it produces the wait time for that ride. But really what it's doing, and this kind of gets outside, this is a whole nother lesson that we'll get to, the JSON parse, where it goes through the response text, and then it builds the line 44, select an attraction, which is right in here, and then our for loop, and it just builds an attraction list variable that has all this HTML, radio buttons, and such. And then this one actually used a line of jQuery to put it together because that was easier, and we were allowed to use jQuery in CS 3.13. So I put it together that way. But really everything is really summed up in the 6 lines right here, not including the document get element by ID, just because that's whatever it's doing. But all of your AJAX requests will all have the same basic format. That's pretty much all I got for that.
That was good. That was thorough. I feel like I actually have a little bit of understanding about what that really is now.
It's really kind of cool. It was killing me until last semester. We did it a little bit in CS213, and I didn't really understand it. But using it again last semester in 313 and playing with it a little bit more, it was like, oh, wow, this is really cool.
Jason, Luis, do you guys have any questions or comments?
No, I have seen this before. Actually, I have seen on the 213, CS213 on last semester too, on PHP, right?
This is actually in Node.js.
Oh yeah, of course. But I have seen on 213 on the PHP.
You can do it with PHP also. You can do it in JavaScript, so you could do it as part of the front end as well. It doesn't have to be back end. Actually, this this file right here, this file right here is part of my front end. So yeah, this file was part of my front end code.
Yeah, I was working on this for my Ajax example, and it was pretty cool to figure out like what data you can pull out of it and do with it. It's pretty awesome.
It really is. I'm looking at, trying to figure out kind of what to do for the project once we're done all of our I guess all of our different requirements.
Yeah, topics that we do.
But yeah, just looking. You definitely want to include Ajax requests, and I think that's one of the things that has been a huge change to the internet to make it much more interactive.
Yeah.
But a lot of it too, you read about like interacting with RESTful APIs and stuff, and this is a lot of it right here. Is that Ajax request?
Yeah, and then when doing all of this, then you start to see how all the topics are intertwined, because like this is what the Ajax code topic, but you're using the HTML HTTP requests. You can add the if you're not pulling from an API, you can just pull from a JSON database. So
my understanding too, and I haven't tried it yet, but I'd like to, is you can actually also use this to read local files into your JavaScript. I think I was reading something related to it.
Instead of the URL, you just use the file name on your local server. That's about all you have to change.
oh yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, I thought I read something about the ready state has to equal 0 though. Is that
no? It's still the 204.
Oh, 204.
Well, 200. I'm not looking at code here. I'm driving, so I'm.
Oh yeah. Don't look at the code while you're driving.
Okay. You still have to check for the status. You still have to go up to the 4. It's exactly the same as pulling wait times from Disneyland as it is to pull a text file from your local server.
Wait times from Disney are way more cool though.
And you're going to get more points from your teacher for that too.
That's good. I actually included this as part of my submission, even though it does use the jQuery. I did some DOM manipulation with the other part of my submission. So.
All right, I will close my eyes on that, but the Ajax sounds like you got it good.
Now we
Yeah,
know who to go to when we need help.
Well, that's okay, because last semester I was not the person to go to for help. So yeah, I've done some homework on this, and it is super cool.
Yeah, I think a lot of these, like, you don't get it, and then all of a sudden one day, boom, it just clicks.
Yeah, I mean,
You just gotta keep doing it.
that's really the thing right there. It seems the way to learn how to do this is to do it.
Yep.
Just get in there and mess around with it and try and break it and see what kinds of crazy things you can do. And
it's the same approach I take to cake decorating.
There you go. Seriousness though, one thing I have noticed, and I guess pretty much through all of the software engineering classes, is stuff like console log and all that. That is your friend. Log stuff and see what's changing and what's happening, and it makes it so much easier to understand what's going on behind the scenes. And you can always get rid of the log statement later.
The debugger.
Yeah, I was going to say the
debugger is your
debugger
friend.
Yeah,
Sure.
C++ doesn't have much of a debugger though. So for all of us software engineering students, we didn't really get to learn with a debugger. I do understand though that the debugger is. I just need to learn how to use the debugger better. But yeah, console logs, error logs.
Yeah, I like to go into Chrome and inspect. I guess that's another word for the debugger, because then I can actually see, how those pages are built and what they're doing on them. And it's nice to be able to like understand that and see and go, oh, I know what that is.
Yeah, I mean that's huge.
So, well, does anyone have any more questions, comments?
I'm good.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm good.
All righty. Well, I think.
If I can interrupt, I was here at the first of the call when there were just the two of you on. Since a few others are there, do you have any questions that I can answer? I don't want to prolong the call, but since you got me here, is anything on your mind?
Not really. Just waiting on the feedback on the stuff I turned in. So.
Did you do a code topic submission?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. It will probably be tomorrow afternoon.
Oh yeah, no problem.
Spend some time on that.
Okay.
I sent a Dilbert comic too.
Yeah, same here.
Oh, excellent. Okay, smart man. St. Bernards also get you a lot of points.
But no cats.
No cats.
Cats are only good for funny internet memes. That's it.
Yeah. I hope I'm not offending anybody with
No.
my position on cats.
No.
I have the same position.
Okay. All right. I'm going to sign off then. That was a good meeting. I'm glad I could catch you guys.
All right, thanks, Brother
Thanks for
James.
coming.
Thank you.
James.
Okay, now that he's gone, no, just kidding. No, totally kidding. Okay, so I'm going to stop broadcasting.